I will be brutally honest. Ain't nothing but being brutally honest. Coming at you with another video.
What is up, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Brother Bob. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, CG? Appreciate you having me. I love the intro. It's pretty nice seeing the people that I saw, some of the old players and current players with Burford, as well as Randy Cross. So, yeah, man, let's get into it. How you doing today?
Oh, doing well. Yeah, definitely appreciate the compliment of the intro. I put in a little bit of work here and there, but yeah, man, tell everybody who you are, man.
All right. Well, I'm a huge, crazy, diehard Niners fan. Been a fan since the early 80s and the late 70s, actually, all my life. Grew up in the Midwest, went to Notre Dame for undergrad, primarily, or half the reason, because good Joe Montana went there, right?
Yeah.
Then went to law school, became a lawyer. I went to the Super Bowl in 2020, Super Bowl 54. Saw that in person. That really hurt. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm just a diehard fan, but I'm a fan that has to be realistic and objective. I can't just be a homer. And no offense to any homers. We're all fans, but I see something, CG, that doesn't smell right or look right, then I got to call it out.
Yeah.
And let me say hi to the chat. Miss Red Jet Show, good to see you.
Oh, yeah, good to see her, a good friend of the show. Yeah, you know, I'm exactly in the same boat as you. I get a lot of criticism for calling out how I look at it, but I'm going to be honest. Last year, I wanted to see more of Brock Purdy, and I was getting a lot of heat for that. And I said, come on, man, we only saw 5 games. Didn't we just fall for the Jimmy G thing? You know what I mean? But the more he started proving me, the more I started just giving him his props and just stuck right behind him.
Yeah, you know, the thing that I love about Brock is just his story. See, I've been around for a long time, this old head. Got the white hairs to prove it, shaved the beard, but I remember when Alex Smith was on the team and we had Tim Rattay out as 7th round draft pick. And Rattay was my guy, you know. Obviously, he did not pan out. So I like the underdog story, like the guys who not seemingly have all the tangibles, the physical traits to make it, and yet look what he's done as far as Brock. He took the lead by storm, and you might want to call him, some people call him a system quarterback. You know, time will tell, but the point is he gets the job done. He's able to, as they would say in the old days, matriculate the ball down the field, move the team, score TDs, and he has a certain personality that I like, a certain leadership quality that I like in him. Being able to tell basically George Kittle at a post-game interview to pretty much shut the hell up. I like seeing that out of our quarterback. Because let's just be honest, quarterback's the leader of the team. They make all the big money, and hopefully for Brock, he continues to excel this coming season, and he'll be getting a big, 55 or 60 million plus per year average, right?
Yeah, I mean he's gonna get his top dollars for sure. I mean, it takes a lot for me to say, hey, I'm not saying I don't dislike Brock or anything. I got to see more games, and then they just look at it like I'll admit if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll put it like that. But Brock just had
Yeah, CJ, I don't think there's anything wrong with you doing that. I mean, you're taking a cautious, realistic view. A couple of games, one season, he gets injured in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles. and then the next year he performs well. You just want to see it be sustained and consistent, and I get that.
Yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And he's proven it, and he sure checked the boxes. So I'm not gonna question him as any at this point. But I mean, I'll call it like it is. But looking into this offseason, I know maybe there's a lot of the offseason moves we made in part of the draft. But what caught your attention with the 49ers? Like, what was something that they addressed or didn't address, or how do you feel about how they made these moves?
And this is a great question. You know, we briefly had a discussion about topics. What I mean by briefly is maybe 10 seconds. So let's start with the draft, because that's a two-part question. So the draft, I gave it a B overall, B plus. You can depends. And the reason why I waffle with that is because they addressed some needs. And let's just be brutally honest. We need to address that offensive line.
Yes.
Right tackle, right guard. Now, we really didn't draft a per se tackle, or someone that, should I say, projects to tackle in the NFL. That's a big thing. You know, people, he played tackle in college, but does he project as a tackle in the NFL? So, you know, and then Puny from, for example, he said the Niners talked to him about playing inside. So that'd be guard, I would think. So I like the fact that we addressed the O-line. I would have preferred have been in the first round to take those stabs earlier. You know, Pearsall, I think, is a pick for the future, just like Colin. You know, we don't know what's going to happen, and we'll probably get into it in a minute or two with our other receivers, you know, the starters, the vets. But, you know, at that particular time, I get what they're doing, and I think it's a pick for the future because I don't think you can count on both BA and Debo being here past this next season, unless maybe we win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because you can't keep both receivers with that kind of money. So it's like one of them has to go with the top dollars. Because you look at Debo's contract, I think it's avoidable by next year. They could choose that option by letting him go next year or trade him to save some money. But Ayuk, he's in a unique situation. He's trying to get himself a big contract. But a lot of this stuff, you know, how do we feel about this situation is because, you know, Ayuk is just kind of in a unique situation. He's trying to enter into, he's in his 5th year. We don't have to technically give him the contract right now, but if we do extend him, it does stretch up the cap space a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I know we're going to really dive into this, but before we do, I'll just briefly say you're absolutely right. Everything you said. I personally would make sure I'd retain BA and make him happy. It's the market price that's gone up, and you just got to pay what's market. But before we get to that, let me digress. Let me just I don't want us to digress. Let us get to the other part of the draft that I really like.
Yeah, let's get back.
No worries.
Nah, it's just that I was just going by how I was going with it, but yeah, I guess I pulled it good.
CJ, old man like myself might forget. But anyway, I really did like the pick of Mustafa as well as Green. I love those picks for our defense. I think those can be, I don't want to say day one contributors, but at least first season contributors, especially if someone gets injured, hopefully not. But I like that corner position. You can move Demo, move him out, keep him out on the.
He's more of a slot corner at this point.
Yeah, but that's just it. I think throughout the season, if you notice, Demo would move in to slot when they went 3 wide or more. Yeah. And then Ambry Thomas would come out and play, you know, the outside corner. So I prefer to keep Demo on the outside and see who can play. Now, we did pick up some people in the offseason, so it'd be very interesting with camp coming up soon to see who wins those battles.
Oh, yeah. Especially cornerback depth. It's probably been one of our biggest weakness last year because we didn't address much of the – we thought getting Isaiah Oliver would have helped the issue, but it didn't. But Isaac Yadicum had a breakout season with the Saints, which we signed him to a 1-year deal. Rock Ya-Sin, it's always been the injury concern for him, or else he would be a good, solid cornerback.
Yeah, but let's talk about this. If my guy had a breakout year last year, he would have got more than just a 1-year deal with the Niners for the amount that he did. So I just like to preach caution with those, free agent corner pickups, just because of, hey, they were available and didn't get big money from us or anyone. So there is that. But you're right, they could surprise, and that's what I think, that the cornerback and receiver rooms on our teams are probably the best. I mean, yes, I know we have CMC. Don't get me wrong, but it's only CMC pretty much that plays running back. I like those two rooms with the wide receivers and the corners. I think it would be great to watch them, especially in preseason and camp.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy with the draft. At least we didn't go. Oh, there is one other pick I wasn't a big fan of, and that's Isaac Guerrero. I want to get your thoughts on this, CG. But
I'll listen to that one. I want to hear what you got to say about Isaac Guerrero. That's just something that caught my attention. Like during, I was like just seeing his name pop up a lot because of the combine, all the other stuff, and come to find out, he was even rumored to be a 3rd-round draft pick.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see the point in drafting him. Not only at that time and point of the draft, that's pretty high, but it's really high for someone that's not going to probably see the field. I don't see him seeing the field over CMC, obviously, right? Don't see him getting much PT over Jordan Mason. And if Elijah Mitchell's still on the team. So you got this guy who's known for speed, who had some injury problems in college, but is a one-trick pony. He's not really huge on seeing the big hole or the cutback hole. So I just thought that could have been a downer pick. But hey, again, I give it a B. If this guy turns into the overall draft, that is, give it a B. If this guy Guerrero turns into a Mostert, but maybe a slight Mostert sub B, then A, it's good to have it. Again, I think that was looking for a future. But I would like to see this year. I would like to see those defense guys that I named did some PT, especially in preseason. See how they do. What are your thoughts?
I can really kind of agree on that part, but then the more I started watching what he does, he seems to fit more of our system more from the previous running backs we drafted. Like when we drafted Trey Sermon, he was more of a physical back. He just didn't seem to fit the system. When you looked at Ty Davis Price, didn't seem like a fit. But I think when you watch Isaac Guerrero, he's that, like you say, he seems like a one-trick pony. But once that lane's open, he's got that cut and he'll run. So it's like, I think it's a questionable pick because we drafted him pretty high. The running backs that he played behind he was drafted ahead of him. Yeah. Like, come on, the guy from Wisconsin, Braylon Allen, didn't even get drafted because Guerrero was drafted before him. And then the Louisville running back, I don't know how you say his name, Taylor or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, you're talking about
yeah. No, but he was great. Yeah.
No, you're right. You said something that's very interesting to me. These 3rd round, at least the prior 3rd round draft pick for running back, it doesn't really seem to fit our system either. And it's a head scratcher to me. We had TDP's the most recent one, but before that, Trey Sermon.
Yeah.
I didn't think Trey Sermon fit our system either. Obviously, he didn't. He's gone, right? So those are head scratchers to me.
But if you look at Guerrero's type of game, he's a late bloomer at this point in college. I can see a little bit of Mostert because Mostert was a late bloomer. Mostert had he was going from team to team. He wasn't given a chance until Shanahan gave him an opportunity. If not for the injuries, Mostert probably would still be on our roster to this day because I think the injuries is what killed it.
That and his age, I think, too.
Yeah. But I think like you said, I agree with you. This is definitely the future plans. Like, I don't know how they're going to use Guerrero, but I think I know what they're going to do with him. I think he's going to return kicks because he's got that electrifying speed. He's got, they're changing the return game. So I think somebody like Guerrero would be a great fit, or the kid we just drafted after him. Jacob Cowan's another option. But I think Guerrero would be the perfect candidate to do that.
Yeah, it's possible. And it's really going to be interesting to see exactly preseason and camp. I'm excited about that. It's starting pretty soon. I can't wait. This month it starts. So the rookies report earlier, as you know, and then we get at the end of this month, we get all the whole team there. So it'll be interesting to see. I can't wait to see the camp reports from the beat writers. As you know, I've done a couple of shows with Grant and some shows with some other ones, and I just look forward to those post camp immediate, the good, the bad, the not so good reports. And I like to get also some other people's opinions. But yeah, I'm excited. But you're right.
Oh, yeah.
At least Garindo is not like Trey Sermon and TDP. He doesn't fit their slow plotting modes. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like the difference between Elijah Mitchell was he kind of was more of a fit, but you didn't have to get him early. That's the best feeling. But I guess fourth round is better than going in the third round because using the fourth round, you want to just gamble on some guys with potential. So it's like that's where you get your muddy rounds is either fourth or fifth round or laters. And that's where Niners have been good at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the question marks for some of our fans, they think we didn't address the tight end. I think after we did sign Logan Thomas later, but I feel like everybody's sleeping on this kid. I've been pretty high on Braden Willis. I've been saying this kid's going to be the real deal.
Well, he does. He's not as big as what we normally like to stick at tight end, but he has the ability to make the catch and make some plays. It was interesting to see that he actually not only made the team last year, which wasn't such a big surprise, but that he ended up playing some snaps in the Super Bowl. And I think mostly on special teams. Whereas, Cam Latu basically got shelved, didn't make the team, and he could end up being a bust. I hope not. I hate to see any young player like that.
Hate to see that. But I mean, there's potential with Latu, but I think Braden's getting ahead of the curve because he's already got a lot of playing time as a rookie. He did a lot of blocking, did a lot of everything. And that's how I feel, but it's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm Oklahoma biased. I just think that this kid's going to be really good. Like, I just think that he even said at a press conference that he enjoys blocking people down, just like how Kittle said it. Having some conversation with his dad he gave me some good info on how he made his son pretty successful. So it's like
good.
He's a friend of the show. I get him on sometimes, but yeah, I've been trying to work on getting his son on the show, but they'll come in the near future. But
it'd be good to see that show.
Yeah, it would.
Especially to see like would love to pick his brain about because I think he was at the tight end camp, right? He was at Kittle's tight end.
I think he was training. I think his dad was training with him.
Okay.
It'd be interesting. Yeah. What?
No, I was just going to say it'd be interesting to hear from him about how much tutelage or training he gets from Kittle. Kittle's obviously a great tight end. So what does Kittle impart to him? It'd be great to see.
I think he's going to start picking up his brains a little more. He's been talking about how much excited he is working with Kittle, but I think from what I was told, because I talked to his dad, and his dad's telling me that he's been training him or having him train over there around Texas or somewhere around there. Okay. That's where he does his workouts mostly.
That's good.
Yeah. So
I also note that one of the people in the chat pointed out something good. Red Jet, the fact that a lot of people wanted the center, and I agree. That whole middle of the O line from center to the right tackle, it leaves a lot to be desired. Right? We need to address that. And I know you may have had your run-ins with Brindle, but I just don't think Brindle is the answer at center. Is he serviceable? Sure, but we saw he was manhandled a lot in the Super Bowl.
I mean, I've been saying this about Brindle for quite a while, but I've been called a hater from a couple years ago. Now a lot of the other fans are starting to pick up to it, and I've been trying to point the finger of what's wrong with this guy. Like when we had Alex Mack, he was a good center, but when you lose that kind of guy with that kind of ability, it's not the same. Brindle is a perfect example of if you have a good, like a good certain type of supporting cast, he's going to look decent. But if you put him around bad talent, I don't think he'll do well. We've seen why he's been cut by many teams. And, I just think I agree with you. I think Brindle is replaceable. I think, like you said, he's very serviceable for maybe just to be like an adequate starter. But he's nothing more than what he is. The all-pro votes, man. How many of our fans have voted for this guy? Come on. Even I'm kind of like laughing about it.
Yeah, in the Pro Bowl. The thing is, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a great point that if he's the weakest link on the line, then it's okay as long as you have no other weak links.
Yeah.
Problem is, we have other weak links on that O line right next to him at right guard. And, I know people are happy for the most part with Banks, but Banks has his hiccups. But really, the right guard, Burford, really, when he's in there, Feliciano did better, obviously.
Yeah.
But then also, right tackle. You can't have two weak links in that chain because you might as well not even have a chain at that point. You just got a sieve and you got to pour his O-line. And that's what concerns me. But hey, got to give the guys credit. They made it to the Super Bowl with that line. And, they all stayed healthy for the most part. So we just need improvement.
Yeah, I agree. Because if you look at if you go to the left side, it's protected right there. Nobody will touch you. But if you go on the right side, you better pick your poison and just throw the ball quickly before you get hit. So it's but I mean, I've been pointing the center as another issue, but Burford has been I'm just hoping it's a sophomore slump and maybe he gets it together because I really believe in this kid. So I don't want to throw him under the bus because I like the guy. But I got to be honest, he needs to get better at the pass blocking a little bit better.
Yeah. What I do like about Burford, though, is that he was honest about his blown assignment in the Super Bowl. Granted, Feliciano kind of pointed it out.
Yeah, he did.
Indirectly.
But Feliciano was being tough love, but maybe he was drunk during that day because I heard he was drunk.
Yeah, it could have been. I think that's what he said, right? But, the point is that Burford took it and admitted it. So hopefully he can learn from it. That's the thing. As long as he learns from it, then I think that he could get better. It's just like you said, it's a big difference coming. Where did he go to Fordham? It's a big difference going to a small school.
He went to UTSA.
Oh yeah, there you go. Sorry. Yeah, going from a small school.
You're thinking of that other guy that went to Fordham, the one that was with Brock Purdy's teammate. Nick Zakel was the one that went.
Zakel, that's right. You're right. You're absolutely right. But it's hard going from a small school like that to the NFL. So you got to give him credit for being able to do that and to perform. This guy started NFL, so it's pretty good.
Well, his first year, he had a solid rookie year, and then this year he just had a slump year. So I think maybe I'm hoping it's a slump year for that time and he could adjust to it. I still believe the kid has a future. Every now and then he might message me, and then every now and then I tell him, dude, just keep your head up and all that stuff. And it is what it is with him. But I know this is going to be a question. This is something we got to live with Kyle Shanahan. But, man, Kyle can take us places. He can take us everywhere. But it's just the one thing we have yet to do with Kyle is just we gotta get that Lombardi, man. It's just
you just had to bring this topic. See, I didn't know this was going to be a topic, but
I had to throw it out there.
You had to throw it out there. As you know, I just had a debate with Rob Stats, and getting over the hump for Kyle, I think it's going to take a couple of things. One is he has to be honest with himself that he's not as great as everyone likes to say he is, that he's not a genius yet until he puts it all together. I don't know if I said this on the debate, but Kyle has, and I know I call him Kyle Levy, but he has a propensity to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Like the victory's there for him in the Super Bowl. And for some odd reason, he just does something like, hey, give me that. Give me that L. I want that L. And granted, we know he doesn't want it, but he does things as if he doesn't want to win. So for me, how do you get it around? Be honest with himself. He has to learn that he has to improve. And improvement for him, I think, is game management.
Yes.
You got to have someone, because it's not him, being able to say, hey, at this particular point, this is what you should be doing. And especially you got to lead in a game like that. Two, he should probably practice those situations. When he's up 9 or up 6, how to bleed the clock, but also score. These are things that I would love to see Kyle get better at improving. And I think it comes down to accountability. His scheme, it's good, but is it great? I don't know if it's great as far as the way that he runs it, right? We saw McVay. Go ahead.
No, but like you said, does it work? Regular season, it works. That's not a question. Like the management, the clock management, when it comes to the big stage, like if he can just put it aside and not try to be too cute, because that's been the common mistake by Kyle. He's been passing it. Like, dude, there's maybe a time maybe you can at least try to run the clock a little bit. And even if you get a few yards, that's okay. You're killing the clock.
Right. See, and that's what I mean. Some people that like to point out, well, he ran the ball a lot in this particular last Super Bowl, but it's how you run it. And if the way you're running it is not working, let's say focus on, running it up the middle or to the right, well, then adapt. That's his other big thing. He doesn't adapt. If someone's beating his skill or his scheme or his play calling that particular day, he doesn't adapt. Or if the other team adapts and takes away what he's been doing, he doesn't know how to counter. See, that's the thing I loved about Bill Walsh. He was able to say, okay, I'm going to exploit these two weaknesses of yours. And if you take it away, and he would continue to exploit those weaknesses until you take it away. So then when you take it away, you took that away, then he was like, aha, got you. Now you change your whole defense. Now I'm going to go after your other weaknesses. And that's the way that I love seeing coaches. Don't just come in there with a game plan that you stay married to and stuck with regardless. Come in there and be like, all right, we can do different things, because you might see different things, especially the Super Bowl. The other team has 2 weeks to study and prepare. And so they can give you things that you haven't seen before, wrinkles that you haven't seen before, tight man press coverage, shading coverage to a certain side. A lot of people have talked about this, but disguising coverages. So very important that you be able to adapt on the fly, especially in a big game like that.
Yeah. Like, his clock management's been the most common issue. I think when it comes to the regular season, Kyle can be the most genius coach in football, and the scheme works. The problem is, you look at guys like Sean McVay, which I hate to give credit. At least he'll at least try to give somebody more credit instead of his own self. If he knows it's not going to work, he'll at least move on and get somebody else. If this guy's the weakest link, he's going to find a way to improve it. It takes Kyle a while to realize that. But Sean's just a quick processor. I would say he's the Brock Purdy of head coach. If he feels like he has to fix it right away, he will. But
yeah,
it seems like Kyle is the Jimmy G of head coach, man.
Oh, wow.
I had to throw that out there.
I like that. I don't think he's as bad as Jimmy G, but I get what you're saying.
Clock management wise, or kind of being one dimension once you stop his type of play.
No, I totally understand. I get it. But you're right, though. I mean, that's the funny thing. You're right. Let me address, if you don't mind. You had someone with some questions.
Okay.
Grandizer.
Yeah, Grandizer is a good dude. Let's see.
All right. You want to read it? Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I'll read it or you can read it. I'll read it.
Sure.
All right. You go ahead.
So it's your shot. I don't want to step on your toes. But it's a great question here.
Okay.
And I think the question is addressed to me, Brother Rob. Do you think Coach Kyle believes you keep going or doing with what got you there, and any changes would ruin that? All right. That's a great question. But let me put it to you this way. What is there? What has got you there? Is it got you to the podium holding in Lombardi, or is it got you there just to the game? See, because to me, that's the thing. You can do what got you to the game, but you have to be able to sorry, I just saw a Grandizer run. It's funny. CG can't read it. He was wearing sunglasses that night.
Well, gotta look cool for the style, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, man, you almost made me put on my stunners. I have some Gucci's that I love. But anyway, so Grandizer, that's the thing. I mean, what is it there in your opinion? And more importantly, you have to be able to adjust, because as CG said, and as I said earlier, other teams can recognize what you're doing and will maybe in the first quarter let you do what you do, but then all of a sudden throw something different at you, especially after halftime. You come out in a different defense, you come out in a different set, you come out different just play calling than what you did prior in the season. We have to be able to do the same as Niners, but not get totally crazy with the play call. It's got to be something that you're used to doing, but just different, So a lot of times we have, for example, that wheel motion in the back with Debo or others. Okay, well, you can run that, but this time instead of going to your bread and butter CMC or making it an actual run, have other players be the targets and slightly different routes. BA, for example, Kittle, for example. But yeah, I think the biggest problem, speaking of Kittle, is he has to stay in and help block. Not that much, but enough that I think I would prefer to see Kittle out, in pass routes, just like we see Kelsey. I mean, how often do we see Kelsey blocking? So, but anyway, that's another subject. But go ahead, CJ. Your thoughts on that question?
Nah, like I think what Kyle is doing, it works fine, but I think he needs to be a little more creative on certain plays. Like, when we're in the Super Bowl, that's not a question with him, but you got to find a way to run the clock. So maybe try to give the ball to your best player. Give it to Debo. Do a jet sweep or something. I don't care if he loses a couple yards or not, as long as we're killing the clock. I don't care because it takes away the clock a little bit.
No, you're right, and a lot. Hey, run behind Trent Williams. There's a lot of times we weren't running behind Trent Williams. Now, granted, Trent had some not so good plays in the Super Bowl. It was his first though. But yeah, run it. See, that's what I mean. That's your strength. So don't go away from your strength. Don't try to run between Brendo and Burford or Brendo Feliciano. Run behind
Trent Williams or
Trent
Aaron
Williams
Banks.
And Aaron Banks. Run on that side until the other team can stop you, right? Make the other team stop you. And that's the thing that I believe that he just doesn't do, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's true right there. Grant, as he keeps gives us good questions. How should Coach fix that? I guess he won't change, so he gets an OC and lets him make 100% on offensive play calls, or is it Kyle's ego that won't allow it? I think it's Kyle's ego. Because if he wants a play caller, that would relieve the stress. And maybe it will give him a different perspective of how he can manage the game instead of trying to be too much of a play caller.
Absolutely. But he's not going to give up play calls, man.
Exactly.
So I think that's kind of the problem. I think he's a better offensive coordinator at times, other than when it comes down to, certain situations. But I think that's when you need a good head coach to chime in and say, wait a minute, hold on, let's do this. So granted, I don't see Jed York ever firing Kyle Levy. I just don't see that happening. What I would love to see is, maybe his father tell him, hey man, you need a little help with game management. Someone to help him, just in those situations. Because look, I don't know if you realize, I forgot all about this. Juice in a playoff game against the Cowboys, went up at halftime and told Kyle, or maybe it's third quarter, just run the ball.
Just run it. And I think there was some stuff in halftime where Debo comes into the locker and say, hey man, just give me the ball.
Yeah, he did say that in one game. I do remember Debo saying that. I think it was on the sideline. Debo said
he said it on the sideline, but then he did say it in the locker room against the Lions. He said, hey man, just give me the ball.
Yeah,
he was even telling Lynch, hey, I was asking Kyle to give me the ball, and then Lynch should just ask Kyle.
Okay, that tells you who's really running that show. It's no one else but Kyle.
Yeah, and Kyle kind of just wants things his way, which I understand that part. I mean, I think for the way how Grandizer is saying it, like Coach Brother Bob, do you think this O-line that Coach Kyle wants in his own? I mean, Chris Forrester kind of exactly gives Kyle what he wants. I don't really like his approach personally, because now you look at this guy. He brings in guys like Brendo who are just unproven to me. But you want to give other guys that are projects chances. I mean, I like the Aaron Banks pick. I do like the fact he turned out pretty good. But majority of the guys, come on, dude. Are you still on the coke, buddy? Are you still on the coke?
Whoa.
I had to go there. How to use that reference.
I see you had to go there. I don't think Forrester's a problem. I don't think Forrester's a problem.
He does his job.
I think he does pretty well. I mean, look at the talent he's given, and look what he's done with it. He's got to the Super Bowl with it. I think the problem, and this is probably what Grandizer is saying, I think the problem is Kyle. I think this is what, and Forrester even said it. Hey, I'm happy dealing with, I'm paraphrasing, dealing with the talent that I have. We don't need first rounders and blah, blah. I think that's his way of saying, hey, I'm given what I'm given, and I work with what I'm given. I don't think Kyle cares so much about the O-line, Grandizer. and CJ, as much as he cares about those weapons, so he cares about those receivers because he played receiver in college, really didn't play. He cares about having his weapons in the back like CMC. He cares about that and having a quarterback can just run his system, his scheme, right? Just run it as I tell you. So I don't really think Kyle cares so much about the O-line. I think he, other than having that tackle, he's shown that he does want a good center at times, but does he make it that a focal point? Does he insist on going out and doing it and getting that? No, you can tell by looking at the draft. I looked at Trent Williams, for example. Now, and yes, take care of Kenny 49ers. That's a funny guy like him.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah. But you look at, I would think at this stage in Trent's career, not saying he has to, retire next year or the year after that we should cut and move on from him. But my point is you have to get prepared for life without Trent.
Yep.
So to me, the way to do it is get a nice, decent prospect on the team. You can use a second and third round draft pick, preferably a first. And we haven't had any because of Trey Lance, that debacle. If you ask me, just the way we drafted him, it didn't, properly train the kid to teach the kid. But anyway, that's old news. Or some other draft picks, like we talked about Sermon. We talked about TDP. We can go on and on. But my point is, it would be nice to see someone in the wings that Trent can, bring along and show and indoctrinate, just not playing left or right tackle in the NFL, but the Niners way, in the Niners system. So that'd be good. It's the same with center, center to me is a very important part.
Yeah, if we can get a stable center, but I mean, I'm not saying Brendel's the worst in the world, but he's just not the solution. He's adequate for me. But Burford, I'm just hoping he turns it around. Is all I'm hoping for.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think it's going to take more than just Burford. I mean, let's just say we brought back Feliciano, so I think Feliciano is probably going to start, right? He'll start probably at right guard, maybe move him to center. But either way, I think it's more than just Burford. I think it's going to have to be that center position that's going to have to pick it up too. And then we still have Colton McGivitt. I call him McGivitt.
Because he gives up.
He gives up sacks. He gives up pressures. He's another problem. So I think it's more than just Burford, to be honest with you. I think we got to get that line from center to right tackle addressed. And it's now just going to be a thing of those players performing better. And because I don't foresee Puny or the other guy we drafted from USC, Patterson, forgot his name. I just don't see.
You're talking about Jared Kingston.
There you go, Kingston.
Yeah,
I've got all these players in my name.
He played all the other spots. He played a lot of the spots from, I think, Washington State. He played tackle, guard, and center too. So he's got a little bit of versatility.
Absolutely. But I just don't think either of those two will be able to, especially in Kyle's system. Kyle doesn't normally start rookie linemen. So
they got to learn the system first, and that takes them a full year maybe for some of them.
And they got to bulk up to NFL strength. You can have the weight, but you got to have the strength to block these big boys coming off the edge or doing stunts. You got to be ready for that. So absolutely.
I mean, you're right. He doesn't usually start rookies. They have to at least, he'll make exceptions if they're up to speed. Like, Burford was one of those guys that got an opportunity to start more than expected. But I think it's because he was ahead of the curve. One thing I learned about that kid was he was a quick learner. So that was just something I liked about him coming into the draft. And I felt like, hey, this kid will be raw. If we take him, he'd be pretty solid. But for some guys, you got to be up to speed or else you're going to be redshirted. So that's just how Kyle does business.
Absolutely. But I get it.
Yeah.
We got another good question from Grandizer. Go ahead, CG.
Yeah. Coach, Brother Rob. Oh, no, Brother Bob, man. Come on. You call him Rob? Okay. Do you ever mock draft 49ers actual draft? Which players they should have picked? Yes, I can't believe the Niners ever drafted a center high. Like, Kyle is scared of drafting one.
That's a lot of questions in there. Okay.
He's a question maker, that's for sure.
Yeah, I got it. I love it. And let me say, what's up to 49ers, Eddie? Short answer is, Grandizer, yes, I do. I've had some mock drafts, and I can go through some right now. As a matter of fact, let me just pull one up now since you asked, because I did have some some of my, I hate to use this term, draft crush, did he? And so I had some that I liked. And did the Niners take them? No, but it's okay. Let me get to this really quick. So mock drafts. So let's see. Last year, I did pretty well. Last year, let me just tell you this. I mock draft Jair Brown, and I mock draft Laporta. I also like the guy, offensive tackle out of Alabama, which was Tyler Steen. I didn't get a chance to follow him much. That was last year. I did like 8 mock drafts. Loved them all. I hate to admit, I also mock drafted, don't laugh here. I mock drafted Moody, but not in the 3rd round. That was a 7th round pick. And I also mock draft Cam Latu, but not in the 3rd round.
Oh, so, I understand that part. But, I mean, if there were later rounds, I would have been cool with it. But, looking at some of the mock drafts that I had from –
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I guess from last year.
Okay, yeah, we can talk last year.
Oh, yeah, we can go by last year. Actually, I had Jair Brown on one of my draft crushes between him and Sidney Brown. I like one of those 2 safeties. But I just had the obsession of Braden Willis. Braden Willis was just my guy, just right off the bat. I just, like, everybody kept saying, why do you keep putting Braden into your mock drafts every damn time? Because I felt like he would be a great fit. And I kept projecting he'll be a 5th round pick, but I guess he slid down a little bit. And then I had that I actually had that one linebacker, Jalen Graham. Jalen Graham was somebody on my radar just because I talked to Stuart Swagger, who played at Purdue, and he gave me some good reviews on this kid. He says, you're going to like this kid. And I watched his tape, and this kid's really good. He looks like Keena Turner, straight up. If Keena Turner were to like say that's my son, they would believe it.
I love it. Okay, for this year, there's only 2 players that I looked at. One that I mocked, which was Green. I like Ronaldo Green. So I did mock draft him, not in all my mock drafts. This year I did 7 mock drafts. I got really busy with work. And so that's the only one Niner that I got right was Green. Now, that being said, I really liked there was a linebacker, I don't know why his name's Cedric Gray. I really liked him. He was one of my big draft crushes. As far as receivers, I like what's his name? Mitchell Adane. I forgot his last name. The receiver that had problems. Everyone talked about his conditioning and I guess he has diabetes or some issue. But I really liked him. I forgot where he went. So here's what happens though. I do all my mock drafts, and then because of work, it just kind of flushes out of my system. And I have to find that last draft. I can't find it real quick for you. But I did mock draft Green, and I just like what he brings to the table at that position. And did I say earlier I didn't mock draft Mustafa, but I really like him too. So I watch a lot of tape, and I watch a lot of tape with the players, and there is one guy I would have loved to have gotten though, but I don't think he would fit our system, and I hate that he went to the Chiefs, and that's actually 2 players. So one receiver, Xavier
Worthy. Damn, that guy's from my area. Damn.
I just hate that he went to the Chiefs because it's the Chiefs and they can use his speed
as their Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, like exactly. And they don't need that weapon. And then they also got the tackle that I really wanted, who's a draft crush. Oh God, I can't think of his name all of a sudden.
He's from BYU.
Yeah, yes, the tackle. He has the Hawaiian, or I forgot his name, man. Drawing a blank.
No, it's like Mateo or something.
Yes. There you go. I really liked him. I looked at a lot of his tape. I wish I could bring it up right now. And he looked really good. I think it would have been a good project for us to groom. But anyway, those are some of my draft crushes on this past draft that I wish we would have got. But yeah, I was very happy to see us get Green. Green was a mock draft of mine.
I mean, looking at all my draft crushes from this year was Mordecai Corley. I just liked this game a lot. I just thought, hey, if you want to replace Debo, get this kid. I just thought he could do everything. But the Jets got themselves somebody between the offensive line. I mean, just because Tyler Guyton was my guy, I just didn't like the fact the Cowboys got him. But I think he was a project. But I would have been cool with just having him develop instead. Maybe in the near future, if Trent retires at some point, you get Tyler Guyton ready up to speed for that. So I thought he would have been a great choice. We didn't go that route. And the cornerback, I really love this guy's game, but the fact the Cardinals got this kid really ticks me off. Like Max Melton was my guy, and I just couldn't stand him. And he wanted to be a Niner, and it just real like watching his physicality was a fit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Hey, it's easy for us to say, I'm not a paid scout. I've never worked in the NFL, but I start jonesing and getting excited when it comes draft time after the Super Bowl, whether our team is in it or not, or winning or not, and it gives something to do over the offseason. So yeah, I totally get it. Kingsley is the guy. I can't say his name. I can't say his name.
Samatea or something like that.
Yeah, but you're right. He's out of BYU. I would have loved to see Trent bring him up. And I know you like the other one, but yeah, I tell you, it kind of is what it is with these with these draft picks. You hit on some, you miss, and you miss on others, and you mostly miss than you do hit on them.
I mean, yeah, mostly you hit, but the other year, yeah, I did like Wanya Morris. He was another guy, but that was like the following season. Like they had other tackles, but they got this Tyler Guyton guy that was raw, and I wanted him. But the more I started realizing, but there is that one player where I'm just like saying, I know they're gonna get this guy, and I just hope they don't. And I guess for some reason, I don't know. Like we were talking about this earlier, but the more I start watching his tape a little bit, the more I'm kind of feeling comfortable with this choice now. Before I just wasn't liking it. The Garendo pick was just a little bit off my head a little bit. I just said, man, why are we getting this kid that just he's overhyped on the draft board because of a 40 time, and I keep hearing reports that we're gonna get this guy in the third round, and I'm scratching my head like, are you serious? And then I started getting off a little bit. But Ricky Pearsall was the one surprising pick of them all, because I thought, hey, I would be okay if he was in the third round. But first round, come on.
Okay, I think, yeah, listen, I agree with you, okay? I think the problem is Kyle's looking for, and this could be the fact that someone that was in his ear as far as drafting, Adam Peters is gone. Because I noticed something I may have said on other shows, so I don't want to be too repetitive, but we seem to draft this year a lot of, 5-year seniors, and so that kind of concerns me because why? Were we looking for players that are ready, made, and can plug and play, even though we know that he's not going to, Pearsall being a first round, he should see the field, yes. But for the most part, other than that first rounders, a lot of his players don't see the field. So I was a little concerned with that philosophy. And that might have been the fact that, he didn't have Adam Peters there anymore, and he's doing a lot of the picking himself, or had a lot more influence and sway over what John Lynch decides.
Yeah. They got a tight end from Kansas State. What is it, Sonat or something? And they got Luke McCaffrey. I mean, yeah, they got Jaden Daniels. That was a no-brainer choice, of course. Didn't we get a 5-year senior due to the COVID year? Yeah, it's the COVID year was a huge domino effect because they have that eligibility to stay another year, which is – and then the one thing I don't like is the transfer portal. I'm just not a big fan of it. Like, why not? I get it. Maybe because you're not getting enough playing time, but why'd you even bother to go to this campus? Maybe if there was a I could understand for certain reasons. Like, if – the coaches are changing, different coaching staff, and they don't see you as a plan, then yeah, you might as well transfer. But if you're going to transfer and complain about your playing time, might as well put the extra work in instead.
Well, okay, you're right. But let's back up about the COVID thing. And whoever said it, Grandizer, man, you're spitting fire today. You're right. That COVID kind of screwed things up. But for the players that stayed, makes you wonder, did they realize that they weren't that good or would not make it into NFL, so they had to play another year? Now they're playing against younger and slower, not as up speed collegiates. See, that's the thing for me. It's hard for me to be happy with that player because look, we had Trey Lance came out and got paid. There's a lot of players that still came out in the COVID season and got paid. But yes, some did stay because they had that extra year eligibility. The question is, why did they stay? As far as the portal, well, before we go there, what do you think about that, CJ?
Well, some of them had to move up their stocks a little bit, maybe because it's an advantage for some of these guys. Like you see a lot of these guys that didn't have the opportunity. I would think the extra year did benefit Braden because we didn't see enough Braden Willis. Like in Oklahoma, he was mostly a reserve player trying to do his role as a special teamer and mostly a block specialist. If you didn't give him that extra year, we wouldn't see the production he had because in Oklahoma the previous year when we drafted him, he had over 500 yards, 7 touchdowns or something like that. And he showcased he could be a receiving tight end. If he wasn't getting that 5th year, he probably would have been undrafted, or he probably wouldn't have been drafted personally because they didn't see enough film. But I think that's what the advantage can be for certain players. Like, let's say, like, that one player, there was that one player that got drafted from – he was there for a while. I think he was there for 6 years, I think. But I think we drafted him. But he had to stay here for extra years. I forget his name. But we got him this year.
You're thinking about, oh God, the guy from USC. I keep drawing a blank. He was there for a while.
Yeah, Jared Kingston and Puny. I think Puny was like a 5th year guy.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You're right. You're absolutely right. It does benefit some players, and I get it. College players to stay and get that extra year of experience, knowledge. So absolutely, playing time. You're right. But for me, if you were getting that playing time, like Persall or like others, then, staying the whole 4 years or more. I know we're talking a lot about the Young Montana's trolling. I don't see Young Montana.
No, but he goes under the Everett account. I've been fully aware of the Jim Everett account.
I don't even see it. I guess I must have blocked Jim Everett, although I see Jim Everett and other
but there's a troll account under his name, and he's kind of confirming that it wasn't even him saying that.
Okay, got it. But yeah, my thing is the portal is good for the players, but I think the portal is good for another reason. If I'm not getting the playing time under this one coach, as you said, if another coach comes in, changes things, or you get another position coach that's different, or offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, that might want me to move to a different school. So I'm okay with that. But I just think that, we saw a lot of that in what's that, Colorado State or was it Colorado? With Deion Sanders as coach. He's at Colorado. That's right. So, we saw a lot of his players leave, and I don't know if they were given the good old boot or not, but I think I like the college portal. But, I just think that when you come to the NFL, you for the most part, especially the first round, second round, those guys shouldn't be sticking that extra year for the most part.
No, I mean, the portal could be a beneficial maybe for the experience-wise, maybe because if you get more season, I think that gives them a chance to get more opportunities. But if it's just the traditional where they just go 4 years, that's about it. But I think it's an advantage for certain players because they wouldn't be drafted. They probably would have been undrafted or play for a different league or something like that. But it is a beneficial for some of those guys to get an extra year.
Yeah. Oh, but CJ, it's my fault.
Yeah.
But we kind of went past the whole BA and Debo conversation. That was my fault. Did you want to get into that?
Yeah, we'll get onto it, man. But hey, it's a good thing we're conversating. That means we got something building up too. I'm pretty sure in the near future we can get something more coming, bro, because I feel like we're building quickly pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. I love it. Hey, you know what? Love to talk about our 49ers.
Yeah.
Here's my opinion about the contract situation. I find it, and I said this on some other shows, and I'm going to say it again. I feel somewhat vindicated. I said the Niners should have handled this extension earlier.
Yep.
And the thing of it is, when you have a player like BA, and I know people may be tired of talking BA, but he's an integral part of our offense. Grant Cohn posted something on Twitter the other day, and it was just so crazy to me because I didn't even get this stat myself. BA had 75 receptions last year regular season. You know that Elijah Mitchell had more touches than BA last year?
Damn, yeah.
Crazy, right? It's crazy. And BA now,
And the
Go
fact
ahead.
that Ayuk is not getting the most targets out of it, but he's getting the most production out of it.
That's my point, right? So with those 75 receptions, 1,300 yards, that's just crazy. That's just almost nearly led the league in yards per reception. It was just a tick off. So you're talking, and he didn't even, didn't even play that last game. So, you got a guy that's very productive who, more importantly, knock on wood, never gets hurt, gives 100% effort, and blocks like crazy. He and Jawan Jennings, they block like crazy. So for me, not rewarding him, or at least not pulling him aside and say, look, guy, we're going to take care of you. We do it at the end of July type of thing. Okay. Not doing that to me is a problem because you send the wrong message to the other people on the team who do bust their butt like BA does. I mean, you look at the film. I get the all 22. I'm not going to say like I'm a great analyzer of football, but I watched all 22. The only one I didn't watch again was the Super Bowl. And you never see a play where BA is taking off. You don't see him jogging and lollygagging around. No, you don't see that. So when you say a player lollygagging, and I know your effort's not there. A lot of people talked about Chase Young, for example. So to me, thank you, Kenny. Drake London, 70 receptions, only 900 yards. Look at what BA did with his receptions. 5 more receptions, 400 plus more yards.
He averaged 20 yards a catch.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
but I think the difference with Drake London was he had average production. But if you put if BA were to have similar catches like to St. Brown, maybe this would have been a different argument. But he only had 75 catches.
And that's the thing. BA lines up out. He doesn't line up on a slot. He lines up out wide, never goes in motion. So it's him against that damn corner. All right.
Yep.
Something, and a lot of times people, I have watched a lot of film. A lot of times he'll get that man over double coverage. So you got to be careful. He still gets open. He gets open and he's in sync with Brock. Brock has a lot of timing type of plays with his, I don't care about his arm strength. Just get the damn job done. Well, he's in sync, in tune with Brock. So that, to me, that just makes it like a no-brainer. Where they goofed is they didn't, and we heard because BA was on the pivot on that podcast saying, well, I tried to get extended immediately after the season. So, and apparently they were ignoring him. So to me, that's where they goofed. Now the market value price went up. Why should he take less? And I don't care about him only getting 75 reception in this offense. If you know you're worth more, you don't take less.
No, you settle for higher because you deserve more. And plus, he played at a very high level. The last 2 seasons, he's gone back-to-back 1,000 yards. He's gotten better since coming into the league. I mean, you could say he was in a doghouse his first couple of years, but he got it together. So it's like, I feel like he deserves his worth, but $30 million, dude, like, I could understand if he had like 100 plus catches, but he wasn't asked to get most of that. So it's like, we're kind of spreading the ball a little bit. Since we got Ricky, how much of a production is that going to factor into Ayuk now?
I don't think that should take too much away from Ayuk. In fact, if I'm the Niners, I want Ayuk not only for this season, I want him for the next couple of seasons because of his rapport with Brock. But look at it this way. You say $30 million. That's what he's worth. What are we going to do with that $30 million? Spend it on O-line? Yeah, right. Kyle Levy won't do that, So
go on a cheaper O-line from the dollar store.
Right. So here's the thing, we paid Kittle at one point, his highest paid tight end. We paid Debo, right? So the thing is, you got to reward your players. Now, you have to make some concessions, understanding that, hey, I can't keep a stacked roster year after year. That's why you should probably win the damn Super Bowl, Kyle Levy. But you probably got to move on from Debo. And I think it's interesting. Debo, look how he's in camp, in shape, trying to work his butt off probably for his next contract. But anyway, I think that was a mistake. I think you had to pay BA what he's worth, and it went up. So you just got to do it. Now, you also should change the offense a little bit. Make him more of a feature. To me, stop running the ball like crazy with CMC. Get Kittle out more. Get Kittle more targets. Get BA more targets. that'll keep the other teams opposing offenses thinking like, holy shit, what are the Niners going to do? You know? Anyway, I can go on and on about this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, CJ.
Oh, no problem, bro. Actually, I like this question because it's still a possibility. We don't know what's going to happen with BA, but let's say if a team wanted to trade for BA, what do you really think we can get for him? What other NFL team would be a great fit? I would say before you answer, I would say this may sound crazy, but I want to say give the Raiders BA and we get Davante Adams. He's a proven veteran. And you can extend his contract, and he's already like got them. He's going to be the most reliable receiver. That's just
okay.
You get rid of a guy. You want to get rid of a guy who's on a losing culture. Come over here, and if BA wants the money, go to Vegas, dude. Go do what your brother wants.
Okay, all right. Here's my question now. If you do that, now I'm just pulling up over the cap. I know some people like spot rack. I prefer over the cap, but whatever. So looking at Davante, that's going to be pretty hard with his contract. First of all, he's a little older than BA. He's 30, right? He'll be 30. He's 33. He'll be 33 next year in 2025. Okay. So looking at someone who's 32, currently his cap hit is 25 million. So his current cap hit is 25 million. Can we take that on? We had the same problem that people were talking about BA. You're actually going to be putting on more his current cap hit. That's a problem, number one. So for this season, his cap hit is 25 million. That's tough. Number two, next year, he's going to want a new contract. He'll be 33, but he's going to want a new contract because he has zero guaranteed money next year, other than his base of 35 million. So that's the problem. You're going to be looking at an older player. Yes, he's more accomplished, but an older player at 33, you have to re-sign and renegotiate.
That's true. We have to renegotiate, but I would think for the short term, it would benefit Pearso with a veteran to teach him under the wing a little bit. And then if I would think for Adams, he wants to bet himself, get a ring, and then go to another team after that, and it would be mutual. It would be good for both sides, but maybe not the case. I mean, there's possibility, maybe CD Lamb, but no, it's the same issue. No. It's the same problem. They're both want money, so it's not going to matter.
But CD Lamb is different. Oh, let me just say something. Kenny 49ers said it. Welcome back, my friend. Yeah, I think that BA was trolling. I do think that BA was trolling, but that's all these players can do. They can get on social media and troll. I still don't. The funny thing to me is BA was nowhere, or has been so far, nowhere near as bad as Debo. And I like them both. Debo followed the Niners' requested a trade. So I don't know. People like to give a lot of crap to BA, but I don't have a problem with what he's done. I mean, he's a young guy. He's trying to get more money. Make that money. Oh, and then Kenny just said, I'm sorry. Go ahead, CG.
Oh, what were you going to say, Kenny?
Yeah, Kenny was talking about Terry, paying Terry, the not Redskins, Commanders, the same money. But you look at his numbers, the same thing is Terry is older than BA, and he's going to want a new contract too. I looked at this just the other day. Terry makes, here we go, right here. Okay. So Terry, he's going to want a new contract too.
Yeah.
McLaren makes this year, he's making cap hit is 24 million. So again, that's more than BA. Okay. He's 29, so not as old as older as the last cat went to. Why am I drawing a blank? The guy from Vegas.
Davante Adams.
Thank you. This is what happens when you work a full day. I've been looking at medical records all day, bro. Sorry. But yeah, Davante Adams. So he's younger than Davante Adams, but he too is going to want a new contract. Because guess what? In 2025, when he's 30 next season, he has zero guaranteed money. So he's going to want a new contract. So, and then you're going to have to pay him market. And that's the thing. You're going to have to pay these guys market value. So, and it keeps going up with receivers. I think it's best to stick with BA, who can run your system, who has that that ability
and that chemistry with Brock.
Connected that chemistry with Brock.
Yeah, and that's what matters at the end of the day. But I think I agree with you. They should have extended him immediately once the season was over, but they didn't do that. So that's what's gonna be a setback. Now this is going to take a while for it to process, but now that you look at the situation with Debo, it's like Debo's definitely competing for a new contract. I think it's either going to be after next year, he's going to be traded, or they're going to find a way to move on from Debo. I think this may be the last time we see Debo in a Niner uniform by this season, but next year he's gone, I think. I'd be shocked if he stays.
Yeah. You know what they could do? And here's what I would like to see. Obviously, being a Niners fan that we are, CG, I would love to see us win the Super Bowl. And right, that's obvious.
Yeah, that's the dream. Go into Santa Clara, go into the parade or something. Have
all right. Absolutely. But I would love to see it and with a resurgent Debo.
Yeah.
But I think in order to have that, we're going to have to be able to have him play more receiver, less pounding on the balls with the running back and get him out and open. Get him some type of, space like we do for CMC, but the difference is obviously CMC is just better. So because Debo is phenomenal once he has the ball in his hand. We can bring him back for one more year because if we extend BA this year, the big cap hits won't be right away for BA. So you won't have both players making a big dollar money, sucking up big as far as cap space in 2025. So that's my thing.
I mean,
sorry, just crack me up.
No, but Debo, if this was the brilliant plan for next year, if he were to stay, he would have to take something like a Jimmy G pay cut or something like that. And I don't think Debo will do that.
Well,
because the mark, it's going to add up a little more, but maybe.
Maybe. Well, okay. If we just look at his current contract, Debo's current contract for next year. Again, I love over the cap, right?
Yeah.
For 2025, you're right. For 2025 now, he has no guaranteed money, but his base salary is 16.6 mil. So he's going to want a new contract. You're right. But what you can do is you can give him some signing bonus with a contract and not necessarily take on the future years to hurt yourself so that he can get paid more for 2025 as far as guaranteed salary bonus pay. And then we can move on from there. So I think he could play again in 2025.
Okay.
If you make a lot of that base salary guaranteed.
So I guess let him play out his remaining contract. Maybe try to give him some guarantee money. Maybe like move up some incentive contract where he can get a little bit more. That would probably make sense, and it wouldn't hurt us cap wise. But I think what you're saying is they're already drafting for the future. They're already getting Pierce, and Jake and Calvin can be a different use of our offense. Yeah.
So, but first I got to my guy Kenny 49 is funny. He said tort law outside of football means something. Absolutely man. Right, man.
I know, man. But I like how Grandhauser puts the pays of these wide receivers, but it's just the market. They're just going to pay a lot for these certain receivers. I mean, Waddle's getting paid for being the top receiver, but he's not even the number one receiver in Miami. He's getting $28 million, if I'm mistaken.
Look, I absolutely agree, CG, what you said. It's the market, period. It's just the market. So I think it's hard to but where would I put BA? Yeah, I'll put him more than Amon St. Brown. I think he should get more than Amon St. Brown. That was your question, right? I think he should get more than Waddle. So to answer your question, I think he should get more than both of those guys. I think it really comes down to also, and a lot of people don't really talk about it, but if it was me, I wouldn't give a damn about the average per year. I would care more about my guaranteed money at signing, So I think that could be the big sticking point. We're all speculating,
We're all speculating. We're looking at it the way we look at it.
But let me tell you, brother, by the way, I love that effing flag behind you, man. I love it. That's such a cool flag.
Yeah, got a lot of connections here.
Yeah, dude, I love it. I've been sitting and watching it for an hour, and I'm like, man, I gotta get that. But anyway, where you get that from, bro? No.
Oh, my brother gave me that from my. I think he gave it to me on Christmas or something last year.
It's nice. I like it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think BA should get more than those two players.
So do you think he deserves $30 million, but a little bit more?
No. I think if you're looking at a per year, I think there's ways that you can. I mean, look, the last couple of years on these contracts are void anyway. They mean shit. Sorry.
Okay.
So you can if you want, you can give a $50 million last
that's
year.
even too much.
No, but I'm saying you can put in anything on that last year and it won't matter because he'll never see it. So in order to get him, if he really cares about getting the 30 year per year average, sure, you can do something like that. But to me, I wouldn't go above that. I really care if I'm him about getting, let's say, 45 to 50, 51 million and guaranteed money, fully guaranteed money, and not the injury money. I'm talking about fully guaranteed. So AJ Brown got that. So, yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
I think he is going to get something similar to a St. Brown contract, but I'm not saying $30 million, maybe 29. I'd probably go with 29 with at least the guarantee money, maybe because I think if you multiply $29 million with maybe 4 to 5 year contract with him, then you kind of cut down the guarantee money. That's where he's looking for is the guarantee money. I think he's going to get in between the $70 million or maybe close to maybe $80 million because they're kind of making the big guarantee money for some players nowadays.
Well, I don't see him getting 80 million. I mean, unless you include the injury guarantees, sure, but I just don't see him at signing getting that. That's really high for BA. But hey, I've been wrong before. So
I mean, there's certain contracts where these certain players are getting 70 around there or close to 80, and that's. But for quarterbacks, you look at one of them who gets $110 million guarantee. I think it was Trevor Lawrence who got that, right? Yeah. For an average quarterback, man, I'll take that.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's average though. I don't think BA.
BA's good, but I'm saying Trevor Lawrence, with the guarantee he's getting 110. That's a lot for an average quarterback.
Yeah. But that's the thing, CG. That's the market for quarterbacks.
It is. I mean, look, you can be average and get paid top. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because look, we're saying average, but we're saying average compared to what? Mahomes, Brady in the past. Well, but the question is, among his current peers, is he really average? And he had a lot of drop passes, a lot of drop touchdowns. So, I think it is. And you run the other issue with quarterbacks. If you're Jacksonville, do you not extend him? And then you run the risk of what? He has a great year, then you have to pay him even more. Yeah. Or do you draft someone else? That's problematic.
No, they had to do what they had to do because if they let him go, they're going to be trash.
Exactly. Waiting for a rookie quarterback, another one. So no, that's a problem. And then you can't. A lot of people talk about, well, you can use the franchise tag. You got to be careful with the franchise because
franchise tag is a killer. It's a killer for some of these players.
It's a killer. Absolutely, man. Especially quarterback.
But a franchise tag can be an issue where they might have to trade them in some purpose because they're not working out a contract. They don't want just the rental. They want the long-term answer, man. You either got to give them the extension or else they are demanding a trade.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I was explaining to some other people. I was on another podcast, and I was saying, here's a problem. With the franchise, you got to be very careful because there's no flexibility. Yeah. That player signs that contract. If you don't extend him, then you're stuck on that. So T. Higgins, for example, in Cincy, he signed his franchise, and it's pretty damn high for a receiver. So there's no cap flexibility with that. That all hits this year. So yeah, man, I just think it's tough. What can these teams do? You may have a mid quarterback, but you have to be able to keep that quarterback, or less. Hey, these coaches or GMs get fired if they wanted to start all over again and go into a tank season.
Yeah, sure is. Okay, I guess we got one more question, and maybe we can go from here. I don't know. We're going for so long, bro. It's been really fun. I don't want to hold you up too long. I know you got some stuff to do, but I definitely think this is a good question. Before we move on from Brandon Ayuk, should have Brandon Ayuk got paid before CMC? I was going to get to the CMC topic, but we'll probably do that another day. I know you guys.
Well, you take it first, CG. Go ahead. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, he should have got paid, and then I would have taken care of the issue. CMC, all you had to do was extend his contract.
Yeah. Okay. Look, here's my thing. To answer that question straight out, yes. I think we should have. I would have paid Ayuk, extended him before giving CMC more money for all the reasons that I said. But more importantly, it to me it sends a signal. Hey, we drafted you. You're one of us. Even though you're not part of the Cabo clique, you don't kiss Kyle's ass. But we drafted you, right? We moved up at the bottom of the first to get you. Right. And you've done nothing but excel what we've asked. Every single year it's gotten better. I'm excluding the stupid dog. I don't know why he was in the doghouse. It's so stupid. I don't get it. I think that's just Kyle Levy being Kyle Levy. Think he knows more than receivers who actually play in the
block
NFL.
Or else you're getting on the bench.
Right. But from what we saw, BA block. Anyway, whatever. That's old news. So I think it would have sent a signal like, hey, I should be the first priority, especially with what we know now. That immediately after the season, BA and his agent, who's John Lynch's agent, were calling the Niners, trying to get an extension. And then you to turn around and you give an extension. I mean, you give more money to CMC as well as Juwan Jennings, who was just on a restricted tender. So,
yeah, it's just, if we would have taken care of the Ayuk issue before those receivers were getting paid, I think this would have been solved and this would have been the least of our concerns. But now we're just stuck with this for a little bit, and that's not a good thing to deal with. But, we can.
And let me just say this. I'm not saying we shouldn't have given CMC more money. CMC had us another player who no guaranteed money on his contract. His season salary doesn't get guaranteed until the beginning of the season. Now we know he's not going to get cut or anything, but still, he wanted more guaranteed money. So no problems with that. But as you said, CG, and I think a lot of people point out, you should have already taken care of BA before the market rose. And BA said it too. Oh, now the market increased. I got to get what the market says. So yeah.
Yeah, he had to wait out on that part. So, yeah, we know CMC deserves his money, and he's a top paid guy. He's reset the market. He does more than everything that you ask for a running back. I mean, do you think that CMC deserves a little bit more, or do you feel like he's actually good where he's at?
Oh no, he's good where he's at. Man, listen, he is the highest paid running back in the league. He was the highest paid running back in the league before he got this new deal.
Yeah.
So. But yes, as far as being an integral part of the offense, pretty much, some would say the MVP of the team, then, I mean, yeah, but no, I mean, you play running back, you're one snap away. Granted, we can say this about any player, but running backs take a lot more of the pounding, the hits, than any other position, other than a line, right? So I think that it's good that we see that they did reward CMC, but I just think that enough's enough. So he's got him more money. Good. Let him. He's happy. Hopefully, good.
Yeah, it's definitely resetting the market, but it's going to make it too much for other teams not want to pay for these type of players. But I get what you're saying, man. It's just going to hurt the market even more. So it's like you see the pass rushers getting paid insane, the receivers, but the quarterbacks. We'll get to that another time. But I know. It's been fun, bro. I know we can go on for hours, but it's definitely a great time to get to know you, Brother Bob. You seem like a very knowledgeable guy, and I see that you're kind of been going on other platforms. So I figure, man, I got to see what this guy's all about. He seems more like an energized guy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me, brother. I do. We'll have to do it again. Sorry if it's good to hear you say I got this energy because I actually feel like I'm dead with energy. I don't know where you live, brother, but I live in part of California, Orange County, where it is crazy with the fireworks. So they were shooting off. I'm sorry?
Fresno County is where I'm at.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, are they cool with the fireworks up there?
It's a little out of control a little bit with the fireworks out there. It's just, it's a little hot in this type of city, but, I live in
Yeah.
I live in a strict strip city, like around the suburban, which is like near Fresno, but it's just Clovis, pretty quiet.
Okay. I know I've been up there. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's the only reason I'm tired because we were up late, 3, 4 in the morning. So, but yeah, hey, let me just say again, thank you, CG. I love the people in your chat. They've been great. I see Steve-O, I see him a lot. Red Jetta, obviously. Grandizer, I got to see this guy more. He's really got so many great questions.
He's a good
So
question
appreciate.
maker. Yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah, and Kenny, of course, Kenny. So thank you for having me, sir. Let's do it again when you have time.
Oh yeah, for sure, anytime. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys for the next episode.